Hello, everybody. This is Wendy Nystrom, your host with Environmental Social Justice. And today's special guest is OJ Roque. He is the owner of Junkluggers in Hollywood, California. Thank you for coming, OJ.
Thank you, Wendy. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Now, you're back. Now, Junkluggers we're going to get into. It is pretty much what it sounds like, folks, that they haul away junk, but they do it in a very specific, special way. But first, let's talk about OJ's background in digital advertising and marketing. That's a pretty interesting transition going from marketing advertising to junk lugging.
Yeah, and it's kind of unique within the franchise system as well. Interestingly enough, they both started in New York. I was living there in between 2008 and 2013, and in 2010, I decided to kind of change careers. I was in IT consulting before then. I took some classes at NYU in digital marketing, and one of the classes just so happened to work with small businesses in the area that were looking to get their feet wet in digital marketing. And I just so happened to be the team leader of the Junkluggers. So I met the CEO in that class. Yeah, very early on in his career, very, first years of my new digital marketing career. We kind of became friends from then on.
That's a great story. I mean, I love the stories when you just meet people randomly. You have really nothing in common, then all of a sudden you develop a huge friendship and a relationship, and then a working partnership.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, and from then on, I pursued my career in digital marketing. He pursued obviously his career in building that business, and it wasn't until our roads collided again in 2021 where I've been doing digital marketing for over a decade at that point, looking to change things up. It was in that COVID period of is this the right career path? What else can I do to find something a little bit more fulfilling? And right at that moment, I saw, on LinkedIn that he evolved. I'd seen that he changed the business model to a franchise system, and they just started kind of expanding into California. So it was kind of a crossroads of personal interest and professional interest, and everything kind of just worked out there.
I mean, and you said they just opened up in California, so people out here may not be familiar with what Junkluggers does. Now, I did interview one of your colleagues about 2 years ago, and so let's just give people a brief background. What is Junkluggers, and how are you guys different?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as the name suggests, we lug a lot of junk. So we're essentially a professional junk removal service, and what makes us a little different is our commitment to sustainability. That was kind of the thing that attracted me to working with Josh all those years ago, back in 2010. His model was trying to do something different. The industry standard, unfortunately, is really to take everything straight to the landfill. And historically that might have worked, but his landfills aren't really a solution. And he kind of saw, okay, there's a lot of opportunity here in terms of, not taking things to the landfill. So what makes us different, in short, is we work with local charities and nonprofits to essentially try to donate and recycle as much as we pick up as we can.
And you work with, I mean, you sent me some statistics, so stand by, folks. I'm going to pull this up with you. You sent me some cool stuff. So when we talk about stuff being pulled off into landfills, the landfills are full. Let's just get it into our heads right now. We filled them up. We have very few places to dump our junk.
Yeah.
But testing you, so we have 5.7 million tons.
Yeah, and I can kind of clarify, because we got this statistics from one of our partners, Rubicon, who's a partner of ours.
Yeah.
So the stat is actually even wilder than that. But what I like to compare is I like to use visuals in a lot of my presentations, so everyone can recognize that the Pyramid of Giza, right? It's a very famous structure. The Pyramid of Giza, estimated, depending on whether or not you believe aliens helped us build it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe some pointers. It's estimated to have taken us 20 to 27 years to build, and the estimated weight of that is 5.7 million tons.
Right? Oh, okay, got it.
Now, if you look at the most recent stats that Rubicon was able to put together, just in furniture alone in the United States, 9.8 million tons ends up in landfills every year. So that's roughly the equivalent of
Cool.
about 1.5 times the pyramids every single year just in the US. So, and that's only furniture.
Wow.
If we're
That's
looking
just
at
furniture.
that's just furniture. Yeah, it's pretty staggering. So just imagine just a pyramid and a half every single year in our landfills, just in the U.S. And then if you're looking at textiles, it's
Mm.
14 million tons. So it's basically like 2.5 pyramids every single year just in the U.S. So
That's and that's just I mean, I know other countries, we
yeah,
send our
that's not
waste to other
even
countries and it's
yeah, yeah, exactly. Where, again, I don't know the reporting, I don't know how accurate the reporting is, but within the US, those are what Rubicon mentioned. So pretty staggering.
extremely staggering considering that there are tons of people out there that can use furniture and textiles or clothing
Yes.
every single day, and
Yes.
we're just dumping it into a land that's dumb. So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be polite, but, it kind of gets enraging when you know that there are people in need, and instead of saying, "Oh, here, we can no longer use this," "Oh, just throw it in the landfill."
Yep.
Nobody gets it.
Yeah.
So you some of the charities you work with, I know you said Habitat for Humanity, of which
Yep.
I'm a
They're a big
huge
one.
fan of Habitat, but
Yep.
you work with a number of large charities.
Yep. And on our side, we're pretty open to any organizations that are willing to take some donations. So the big ones that we primarily work with are Goodwills, more recently Society of St. Paul or Vincent de Paul. They've just been, very great at being able to take in the donations that we have. We've also at times worked with Homeboy Industries and Mountain Angels.
I love them.
Again, they aren't so every nonprofit is different, and some are a little bit more designed to take in donations. So we bring things when we can or when they're available. But primarily, that tends to be the Habitats, the Goodwills, and the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. They're a little bit more aligned to take donations. So
Yeah. No, yeah, I absolutely understand that, but, I mean and it's absolutely necessary. These are materials that, as you said, a couple pyramids worth of waste is getting dumped and can
yes,
go to
yeah,
people, and the important thing is you guys will pick up you'll go to someone's house, you have beautiful trucks, like, "Guys, these are the cleanest trucks I've ever seen," and this isn't just for the photos, they're very clean.
they're
But,
hard to miss. They're big, bright, and green.
big, bright green, but you guys will pick up pretty much everything,
Yep,
and you'll sort it.
yep.
You'll
That's
sort it for them.
another
Now
big
go through
one.
that process of how you determine what's gets reused, recycled, restored, whatever.
Yeah, and I think at this point we've kind of come to a place where we're pretty good with knowing what the charities are going to accept as donations, and when things are kind of on that fringe of maybe this is kind of past its useful life.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, we're always we s- are pretty optimistic in terms of what we'll try to take to the donation centers. And always trying to find, okay, maybe we can get this thing donated and what we can't. Certain ones, I think the big things in terms of recycling is we're really focusing on anything that has any metal on it. So a
Mm.
big one is going to be, especially in our area, a lot of like old like metal racks that are in warehouses. Those tends to be like the really big ones. Filing cabinets, those
I
old,
was gonna
really
say filing
old
cabinets
ones.
that are
Those
metal, yeah.
ones are kind of the bread and butter. But also we'll also dismantle some old desks as well, especially like some of the old like school desks and that
I
sort of
remember
thing.
those.
Yeah. Yeah, so those take a little bit more time, but we're out here trying to really just leave a good mark on how sustainable we can be.
And that's a full circle economy what you're doing. I mean, you're trying to save up every little bit and keep it out of the landfills.
Yep, as much as we can, as much as we can.
Yeah.
So yeah, and on our side, like I know we listed a couple nonprofits, but I have to stress on our side, we're open to working with anyone that's willing to take the items. One of the examples is clothing. So, and this is actually pretty interesting. So everyone has clothes that they can probably donate still to a Goodwill or a Salvation Army and whatnot, but we also probably have items that we're not looking to donate, thinking of like maybe just really used up old t-shirts that might have like deodorant stains on them or something like that, or old like socks that maybe have holes on them, right? You're not thinking
Yeah.
donations, but there are
Mhm.
organizations that you can actually take that will just recycle the material and you reuse it and create like new clothes. Yeah. So
That's
um,
awesome.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
very cool. I didn't know that they were able to completely do that yet. I've heard talking about it, but I didn't know that was up and running.
Yep, so that like the one that we'll work with is I'm butchering the name. It's like Sway So Shop. They are a for-profit company, but again, on our side, um, we're gonna try to donate whatever we can, but we know those are those items that aren't really gonna do well in a donation center
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
can actually fulfill that need.
I actually had read a statistic a couple years ago, so it's obviously out of date. But a lot of places like Goodwill, they actually throw away about 80% of their donations because they can't sell it. And they're constantly getting in new stuff and
Oh yeah,
they can't. It's too much. And people do donate stuff they shouldn't.
yeah, yeah.
Some of those things are not really meant to be resold.
And I think, I think we're all trying to figure out a better way of doing things, right? When it comes down to it, and uh, in the world of donations, one of the challenges that we have is even in a perfect scenario, right, where we get things brand new and perfect and we know we can donate it, there are
Yeah.
times where we bring them to donation centers and they're just at capacity. So
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
those cases, we have a very small storage facility that we can hold on to, some of the things that we can. But when we get coupled up with a lot of things, it puts us in a really tough position. And that's kind of where, our 5-year plan is to eventually have our own storefront where we can have more real estate, where we can hold on to certain things. And then we can invest more into some of the upcycling that we'd like to do, because a lot of the donation centers, exactly what you mentioned, Wendy, they look at everything as, can I take this and immediately resell it, right? That's
Yeah.
pretty much like a lot of the model that they have. So then they can, fund their nonprofit. On our side, we love that model, but there are those items that maybe they can't accept, but with a little TLC, we can get them to a good place and still keep them in and have them avoid the landfill. So that's the 5-year goal for us.
I love the fact that, with the idea of the storefront and then upscaling it, so just fixing something that's broken or mending
Mhm.
it. That's actually a really great idea because a lot of people nowadays are looking for vintage clothing or antiques
Oh yeah,
because they have that character and it's also the durability. The
yeah,
way something was made 50, 60 years ago is much different than
yeah,
the way it is
oh yeah.
made
The,
now.
the mass-produced kind of things here. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's just the quality is spectacular. I mean, I go antiquing quite a bit, and you
Mm.
just see the workmanship on some things that's fabulous. So yeah, I'm the type of person that, given the opportunity to go root through attics and stuff, I am that person. I do that.
Kudos to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Honestly, we should all be doing that. There's just so much great stuff out there.
Oh, and yeah, the quality is there is one more statistic you sent about pollution, my favorite word. 14 million tons of recyclable clothing, shoes, and textiles. So that's the one you were talking about.
Yep,
14 million tons. So people understand that. 14 million tons
every
of
year.
materials getting thrown away. And
Just
again,
in
we discussed the charities and everything, but how about, just call me crazy. Stop buying stuff you don't need.
Yeah.
Stop it at the beginning. Hold on to what you got. Buy quality. Buy something good. Buy something
Yeah.
solid. Um, that's really, we need to kind of go back in that mindset. But going back to Junkluggers, you guys are based in Hollywood.
Yep.
You will go to someone's home, commercial space. You'll go pretty much anywhere they call you,
Pretty much anywhere. Yep, exactly.
and you partner with tons of charities. So I know a lot of 501c3s out there that do this as well. They take in
Mhm.
those materials. So listen up, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Call OJ. Um, is your territory only Hollywood, or can you expand a little bit beyond Hollywood?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, it is a franchise system, so it is all kind of defined by what areas we can service. Our particular service area is pretty much Century City, Beverly Hills, all the way to Pasadena, and then up to
Mhm.
Studio City. So that's kind of So it includes downtown LA, Hollywood, West Hollywood, or Miracle Mile. All those are within our territory. But with that said as well, that's just our franchise. We are nationwide, and we're all friends, and we've all referred business to each other. Interestingly enough, we have a much larger footprint on the East Coast, and one of our first large jobs was actually someone that called us in New York, as they were moving from LA, but saw our signs in New York when they were visiting. So they're like, "Oh yeah." Called them locally, and yeah, it's it's great how it all worked out.
Actually, Junkluggers does have a very good core values that's very prominent on your page, and it says be a mensch. And
Oh,
for
yeah.
those of you who don't know what a mensch is, it's Yiddish for being a good guy. Just be a good person. And meeting OJ, meeting other colleagues that work with OJ, you guys are mensches. You guys are good people. I
Thank you.
mean, other than friendly and outgoing, but you're doing the right thing that so many people don't quite grasp the way you guys do. You're doing the hard work. Because this isn't easy. What you're doing is not the easy job. This is the hard work that you guys are doing.
Oh yeah, and I definitely appreciate it. And I think it's something that the market has not yet fully adjusted to, but it's starting to.
Yeah.
I won't name any names, but when I joined the the franchise system, we obviously promote us being sustainable pretty prominently. Our all our branding is bright green, and it's not by accident, right? But again, with my digital marketing background, I was looking at the competition, and it was somewhat mentioned across other competitors, but not very prominently. But since then, we've climbed to, I think the last year we were third in Forbes's top 5 junk removal services in the U.S. And in the top 10, we're the only one that really leans into sustainability. And looking at the landscape now, you're seeing that mentioned a lot more across our competitors. So what's fortunate is they have to play catch up in that world, and potentially even like readjust our business when we're already there. So it's a nice place to be.
Yeah, you are definitely the leaders of the pack when it comes to it. And that, as you said, a lot of people are, it's in our vernacular now. Everyone's worried about what we call circular economy. Basically, reuse, repurpose, recycle as much as possible, keep it out of landfills. People are now paying attention.
Yeah.
And the good and the bad, we're getting flooded with a lot of noise. And we have to cut through that noise, cut through the people that are greenwashing, cut through the people that are saying, not doing. Junkluggers is doing. They are following through. They're doing that full circle economy. So OJ, how do people find you? How do they hire you?
So we have our website, and it's actually, we all just migrated to our national one. So you can find my particular franchise under www.junkluggers.com/Hollywood. And just the www.junkluggers.com would be pretty much the national site, so you can see everyone there. And as far as more frequent updates, you can follow us on Instagram at Junkluggers of Hollywood. So find us there.
Brilliant. And you guys have really good websites. I trolled the whole thing, so it's actually really easily to navigate everything. And finding you is actually pretty easy as well. So on that, guys, I'm Wendy Nystrom, your host with Environmental Social Justice. Thank you, OJ Roque of Junkluggers Hollywood. We'll catch you guys next time. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.